Hi folks, it's a beautiful day, so I thought, why not look at some comic books? Come on along, I got a Fantastic Four box here, ready to go. I'm trying for a little more pep, so if anyone is watching these things, let me know what you think of the videos, please. Anyway, now, starting right here, look at that. Some great classic Fantastic Four, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, great stuff. This is when the Thing is kidnapped and taken to a planet that is based on 1930s, 1940s mob serial movies. Just really interesting stuff.
Is that why the guys holding him look like mobsters?
Yep. And then there's this one that's the continuation where the Thing is set into a fight where he has to win these battles. It's kind of similar to what happened in Ragnarok.
It looks like,
but,
yeah.
But it's a little bit different, but still, these are just great issues to have. And anyone who's a Fantastic Four fan, if you want to, by all means, please let me know. So this is in the post Jack Kirby era. This is, I think, a Roy Thomas issue. And a quick check, we'll find out. Sure enough, Roy Thomas, John Buscema, and Roy Thomas and John Buscema definitely are worth checking out as well. So that's Fantastic Four 127. So we move along. Here's 135, 144. I think that Jerry Conway, who did the death of Gwen Stacy and the death of the Green Goblin stories in Spider-Man, had moved over to Fantastic Four by this time, and Doctor Doom, of course, So
I thought the death of the Green Goblin was in issue 39 or something with Steve Ditko.
That was his introduction, or no, that was when 38 and 39 were when they discovered each other's identities, and it was
but he didn't die yet.
Right,
Okay.
It was Gwen Stacy's death was in 121, and then Green Goblin's death followed in 122. Spoiler alert.
Anyway, for something that happened in the 60s.
In the 70s, yeah. So yeah, this is moving into the 150s for the Fantastic Four. I don't know if we've gotten to the George Perez issues, but I'll make a note when I see something. So this is still Fantastic Four in the 150s. This one's not in great shape, but it does have a Silver Surfer appearance, so that's cool. 157. So I'm going to go through these a little bit faster. This is 162. I think that this is getting near the Perez issues. So let's see. Still, it's 163, 170. So this is the 170 Fantastic Four. When, for a short period of time, Power Man, Luke Cage Power Man, took over for the Thing in the Fantastic Four. And then, of course, eventually they restored the Thing to his role in the Fantastic Four. So this is 172. There's Galactus, and always a frequent enemy of the Fantastic Four. And sharp-eyed viewers might recognize this as a Jack Kirby cover. I'm pretty sure it's Jack Kirby.
How can you tell?
You get to know the styles after you've been doing this for 40 some years. So yeah, here's another looks like a Kirby cover, but and he was doing covers in the 70s for Marvel, and also writing and drawing Fantastic Four or Captain America. So that's Galactus. So this is around the time that I actually consciously remember starting to collect comic books. So this is about 1975, 1976. So some of these issues I remember actually getting off the rack at Clover, that was a department store at the time, which only older viewers would probably have ever heard of.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
So here's some 183 of the Fantastic Four. This is 184, 185. So this is 186, which I think is the first appearance of Nicholas Scratch, who was a character that wound up in the I think it was in the WandaVision series, or if not WandaVision, then Agatha all along. But yeah, and this is fully in George Perez era of Fantastic Four as well. So
Does that mean you're going to make a note of it?
yeah, make a note of it, please do. So yeah, here's some more Fantastic Fours. By this time, Mr. Fantastic had lost his stretching ability, and they were trying to figure out what to do with him as a character. And of course, the FF resigned.
Wait, who, the Thing?
No, Mr. Fantastic.
So
these are a couple of issues where they're looking for replacements for the Fantastic Four or whatever, and this is kind of like a Thing solo story. 193 and 194. Then 195 is with Namor, the Submariner. And then 196, and this one is just like, if you look at the top left of this, you can see where I did my best to reconstruct this cover. So
you actually did a pretty good job.
yeah, if I was going to include this in an auction, it would pretty much be as a throw-in, because it's the first issue of the 5 issues, 196 to 200. That is a great finale to the Fantastic Four for that era. So Mr. Fantastic gets his powers back, and then he has a climactic battle with Doctor Doom. It's just great stuff. So there's issue 200.
Of course, you fools.
Yep.
That's Dr. Doom, right?
Yep. And then here he is. This is the final battle, allegedly, with fight to the finish against Dr. Doom. With the
Allegedly.
complete with the Jack Kirby cover and everything. So just bringing the Fantastic Four full circle for issue 200. Really great stuff. And then, of course, they, moved into their post-issue 200 era. Of course, Spider-Man appears because he was a frequent guest with the Fantastic Four anyway. And then there were some good issues in here. Fantastic Four is always good. This is Doug Mention, Bill Sienkiewicz issues. And then from Doug Mention and Bill Sienkiewicz, they transitioned over to, I believe, John Byrne, somewhere around here. I think it was 224 maybe 225. But anyway, this is a John Byrne written and drawn issue, I believe. This is around the time that he started. Darn it. Yeah. Oh, it's still Doug Mention, Bill Sienkiewicz. Okay. So let's see. Where did John Byrne start? 231. Nope, that's still Doug Mensch. So it must have been in the 230s. I got my numbers mixed up. That must be what this is. This is a reproduction of issue 233, and I'm guessing this could possibly be the first John Byrne issue, which is why it would be reproduced. But yeah, John Byrne started a long and very popular run of Fantastic Four, very much reminiscent of the Lee Kirby days. So people really appreciated that.
I thought you meant Lee Kirby, like a guy named Lee Kirby for a second.
Yeah, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, yeah. So yeah, John Byrne had some really great issues here and great characters. The art was, why is 187 is out of place here in 246 and 247. So look at that, folks. Here I am refiling. So let's get back to the action. 246, 247 with a great Dr. Doom cover. That's 248. 249, 251. There's a nice sideways Fantastic Four cover. Pretty cool. Anyway, so this just kind of traces the Fantastic Four to the end of their run in the 260s. And then eventually there's the trial of Reed Richards. Got a couple of issues of that. And then the She-Hulk replaces the Thing in the Fantastic Four. They always seem to be looking to replace the Thing for some reason. But there were more than a few issues where their She-Hulk was involved with the Fantastic Four. This is another classic where Reed Richards has to seek out the help of Dr. Octopus because Sue Richards had fallen ill and he needed Dr. Octopus's genius to help him with her. So that's a good one. This is Fantastic Four later. And then there's other issues that are going on here. Here's She-Hulk again. That's a Stan Lee parody on the cover. The Coming of the Witch. And then there's other Fantastic Four 278, 279, 281. I think this is 296. They did these covers for every title in Marvel's line. It was a profile with all the Marvel characters around the edges. So for team books, they just picked whoever they thought would be the most interesting one. And the Thing got the nod for the Fantastic Four. Kind of justice considering how many times
he kept getting replaced.
That's 308. So this is getting into an era of Fantastic Four that I'm not as familiar with in the 300s. But I've read a few of them, but I only have...
Fantastic Four versus the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I only have a few of these, as you can see. But
how does that work?
I guess it's the Secret Defenders. So there's 4 on this side and the Fantastic Four on that side.
The Spider-Man's one of them, apparently.
Yeah, of course, at the time, 4 of Marvel's most popular characters, Wolverine, Ghost Rider, and Spider-Man, plus the Hulk. So, Marvel was definitely trying to get everyone they could to buy the buy the book. This is a nice glittery cover that is kind of tough on the eyes, but it's an interesting cover. And, now we jump into the 400s. This is issue 416, an Onslaught crossover. And these are annuals, so these are older, back to the 1977 annual 12. This is 1978 annual 13. This is annual 17. I think that's 1985 or 86. And this is annual 18 from 1984. Oh, maybe I was wrong about 17 though. So yeah. So that's it for Fantastic Four. I think I have some other issues elsewhere in my collection, but these are the ones that are here in the storage unit. But if any of those catch your eye, or you're interested in hearing more more stories that may or may not be accurate about the Fantastic Four, let me know. Then please let me know if the videos are interesting or boring or too slow or whatever. I can make adjustments. But thank you very much for paying attention, and hope to see you buying comics from me. Thank you very much.